It's that time once again. Here are 50 amazing facts to blow your mind. Approximately 7,000 years ago, the human Y chromosome experienced a restriction in diversity. During this time, there would have been effectively one man for every 17 women contributing to the gene pool. Research suggests that Neolithic society was selecting which men could have reproductive success. The United States accounts for less than 5% of the world's population. However, it represents 83.1% of the global volume of ADHD medications. The earliest written references to King Arthur appear in the Historia Brittonum, though the full legends of King Arthur in the Knights of the Round Table were later grouped into the Matter of Britain, one of 3 great medieval literary cycles. The communists forced Romanian King Michael to abdicate in December of 1947, threatening to shoot 1,000 young people if he refused. The Alaskans were so opposed to the establishment of the national monument and national parks in their state that they refused lodging to park rangers. They even vandalized National Park Service planes and even set one plane on fire. Hoover's washing machine factory built the Sinclair C5. 14,000 were made, but only 5,000 sold before production stopped after 8 months. The original creator of the Chattering Teeth toy, patented in 1949, is still alive and inventing toys at the age of 104. The small protrusion from our ears near the canal is called the tragus, in that it helps collect and process sounds coming from behind us. When 2 metals impact each other on hypersonic velocities, the intense pressure and shock waves cause the solids to behave like liquids in a phenomenon known as hydrodynamic flow. In March of 1915, 4 corporals in the French army were shot by firing squad as an example to the rest of their companies during World War I. The events of the Souain Corporals affair inspired the 1935 anti-war novel Paths of Glory by Humphrey Cobb, later adapted into a film by Stanley Kubrick. Chipmunks couldn't be found in the wild in Europe before the 1960s. Frankenstein's monster was a vegetarian. Viacom was spun off from CBS, then decades later bought CBS, now known as Paramount Global. Pandas love to roll around in horse manure, and some scientists think that this could help them survive winters by blocking the receptors in the body that sense cold. On Friday the 13th, fewer accidents and reports of fire and theft occur because people are more careful or just stay home. Some people have a hole above their ear canal called the preauricular pit due to a sinus tract being in the wrong place. During the 2010 Safeway Classic, LPGA golfer Julie Inkster took practice swings with a weighted donut on her 9-iron while waiting to tee off for the 10th hole. She was disqualified after a TV viewer reported the incident to tourney officials, as practice devices are prohibited during rounds. The D&D Day in Normandy stands for Day. Hyperthymesia, a rare condition in humans that gives them a superpower of recalling memories with excellent details, which are carefully indexed by date involuntarily, but the memories keeps playing and you can't pause them ever. Cancer was discovered around 3000 BC, and a papyrus depicts tumors and describes a surgical procedure for removing them. The disease was first named by the ancient Greek physician Hippocrates. It describes tumors in the Greek word for crab. There were Samanists, a group of peasants in modern-day Indonesia who, during the Dutch occupation, went to the woods to build self-sufficient communes that refused to pay tax or participate in trade, as a rejection of colonialism and capitalism. Nathan Freudenthal Leopold Jr. and Richard Albert Loeb, also known as Leopold and Loeb, kidnapped and offed a 14-year-old Bobby Frank in 1924. They did this in order to demonstrate their superior intellect by committing a perfect crime. The only giant panda that's not owned by China lives in Mexico. Her name is Zin Zin and she's 35 years old. There's an arena in Pula, Croatia that's one of the best preserved Roman amphitheaters in the world, and it's still used today for concerts and film festivals. There's a town in South Carolina simply called North. Despite its name, it's in the center of the state. The kids that voiced Bluey and Bingo aren't credited on the show, as their identities are kept secret to shield them from the public eye. The Tigernado is a tornado in Oklahoma which released tigers from a local wildlife sanctuary. In 2010, the Texas Department of Agriculture said that a food policy would be clarified after a 3rd grader was given a week-long lunch detention at school for having a Jolly Rancher. The school district said that it risked losing funding if it permitted students to eat minimal nutrition foods. Timber rattlesnakes benefit human health by removing 2,500 to 4,500 ticks annually from their habitat by eating tick-infested small mammals. The expression yellow journalism is derived from the newspapers that originally ran the comic strip The Yellow Kid. The current year, 2025, is the sum of the first 9 cubes, 1 to the power of 3 plus 2 to the power of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way up to the 9th power of 3. The movies California with a K and Natural Born were both inspired by spree Charles Starkweather and his teenage girlfriend Carly Ann Fugit. Juliette Lewis played her in both films. Despite immense amounts of precious metals Spain collected during its colonization of the New World, it had a lot of sovereign bankruptcies and ruinous hyperinflations from the mid-1500s to 1720s. Langton's Ant, a simple computer simulation, is where an ant moves on a grid with only 2 rules, producing thousands of chaotic steps before eventually creating an endless, repeating highway pattern. One of the earliest collaboration standards for length was the length of the Egyptian emperor's forearm between his elbow and the tip of his middle finger. Bars of this length called cubits were made and used to construct the pyramids. A Superman animated series was created in 1988 by Ruby Spears Enterprises, airing on CBS and lasted only 13 episodes. Famous British actor and composer Ivor Novello, whom after the awards are named, was sent to prison in 1944 for misuse of petrol coupons. He had been given the stolen coupons by an adoring fan. Turkey vultures poop and pee on their own legs to cool down. The Muracidal test measures the tendency of rats to attack mice. It can be used to identify antidepressants, as many antidepressants with serotonin inhibits this behavior. From 1867 to 1974, various cities in the United States had unsightly beggar ordinances, retroactively named ugly laws. These laws targeted poor people and disabled people, citing reasons such as deformities, visible signs of disease, or mutilations to deny access to public spaces. The ocean sunfish is known as the mola mola and also known as the moonfish in other languages. Between July and September 2001, parts of Kerala, India, experienced sporadic red-colored rainfall which stained clothes and trees and was later found to contain airborne spores from a type of algae. Lichens aren't a 2-organism partnership, fungus and algae, as textbooks have long said. Many common lichens have a third partner, a basidiomycete yeast, living in the cortex. This was first shown in a 2016 science paper and now widely accepted in the field. Michael Jackson recorded a narration for E.T. on an audiobook mixed with John Williams' score and dialogue from the movie. It was released 2 weeks before Thriller. The first ever sports superstar of the Netherlands was a cricketer called Karst Postuma, and he later developed passion in growing roses rather than tulips in a country which had been earlier known for popular speculative bubbles in tulip mania. In an effort to publicize the first live radio broadcast of opera in 1910, Lee DeForest set up receivers with headphones in well-advertised public locations, including major hotels in Times Square, for people to listen to the performance. Modern American Christmas customs began from an 1812 book by Washington Irving, who wrote of St. Nicholas soaring over treetops in a flying wagon. He also wrote of Christmas celebrations at a quaint English manner, which were actually from a bygone era. The initial title of Alien was Star Beast. Its writer disliked it and changed it to Alien after noting the number of times that the word appeared in the script. The writer and his co-writer liked the new title Simplicity and its double meaning as both a noun and an adjective. England had a 20-year-long civil war when the grandchildren of William of Normandy, Empress Matilda, and King Stephen fought over the English throne. Walt Disney testified before the House of Un-American Activities Committee in 1947. He accused former employees of communism, leading to some being blacklisted in Hollywood. But that's it. Let me know what you guys thought of this video. Leave a like, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.